The Group 2 leader through qualifying is defending event champion E.J. Tackett. The young star from Indiana is one step away from the championship show at this year's PBA Tour Finals in Detroit. Get ready, bowling fans. It is time to resume the 2018 PBA Tour Finals from Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan, minutes from Detroit. Tonight we feature the Group 2 Stepladder semifinals. Four of the world's best bowlers compete to win Group 2 and make the championship show against Group 1 winner Jason Belmonte. E.J. Tackett, the top seed in Group 2 after posting a 9-12 for 4 games, followed by young Swedish star Jesper. Svensson as the number 2 seed. Marshall Kent, Tommy Jones are the 3rd and 4th seeds. Once we get to the championship match, it'll be a 2-game match, including a 2-frame tiebreaker if necessary. Now let's meet our Group 2 finalists with Master of Ceremonies, Dennis McCamery.
Here are our 4 competitors for Group 2. The number 4 seed owns 18 PBA Tour titles from Simpsonville, South Carolina, Tommy Jones. From Yakima, Washington, the number 3 seed has 4 PBA Tour titles, Marshall Kent. The number 2 seed comes from Gothenburg, Sweden, and holds 7 PBA Tour titles, Jesper Svensson. The number 1 seed owns 9 PBA Tour titles from Huntington, Indiana, E.J. Tackett.
Great to have you with us, bowling fans. Dave Ryan alongside Randy Peterson, my Hall of Fame broadcast partner. Our event format RP. Fun to watch again here on CBS Sports Network.
4 games of qualifying on 4 different oil patterns, followed by our stepladder finals. We've already got 1 in the finals. That's Jason Belmonte. The winner of this stepladder format will join him for the Tour Finals.
E.J. Tackett, the defending champ from 2017 in Orlando. Here we're in Allen Park, Michigan. And Tommy Jones will get us started.
Well, if you like rev rate and power and speed, you're going to love this show.
TJ winning 10-pin at 8:43 through 4 games of qualifying. Take the 4th seed in Group 2.
And remember on our last telecast how we saw Sean Rash get off to that red-hot start, playing a very similar line that TJ used right there. Kind of straight up between 1st and 2nd arrow, maybe that 11th or 12th board. Keep everything in front of him until the lanes break down and then chase it way in.
Against the youngster Marshall Kent. As Dennis said a moment ago, 4 career PBA Tour titles. Looking for his first major still. Has not won yet in 2018. Could change that here in Allen Park. Only 25 years old from Yakima, Washington.
Let's take a look at Marshall Kent. Excuse me, Dave. Take a look at Marshall Kent's form in our super slow-mo from profile. Nice push away, left arm out. There's the bend in the cup at the bottom of the swing. Remember, you have 2 levers for power, elbow and wrist. Marshall Kent uses both of them.
Call 10 back. He finds the 1-3 pocket very well early here as we check out our lane pattern in this semifinal, Randy.
It's the Dick Weber pattern, 45 feet in length. The players are going to start right around 2nd arrow, right in there. And then as they break down, they'll migrate in and throw to the hook spot that they've created early.
Lane pattern chosen by the number 1 seed in Group 2, E.J. Tackett. Jason Belmonte Group 1 winner also chose the same 45-foot pattern. Second frame for Jones.
Same result. Not a whole lot rattles Tommy Jones. Just a couple of ring and tens to start, but again, he's in the right zone. He just has to figure out a way to get this ball to go through the pins the right way. But this is one cool dude. I mean, this guy's cooler than a polar bear's feet. Nothing rattles Tommy Jones.
That's cold. Ten pin takes care of the mark. Longtime PBA Tour star, 18 titles, the most of any in our PBA Finals this year. One ahead of Jason Belmonte. From Simpsonville, South Carolina. He struggled though on this lane pattern.
Yeah, and unusual. So did Marshall Kent. Marshall only bowled 190 on this hole pattern. All the players agreeing that this would be the highest scoring of the four patterns. All right. And that didn't look a whole lot different than the other two shots that got 9. At least from where I'm sitting. I don't know, Dave, did you see something different?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you.
Nice shot. There's one he talked about on the same Dick Weber 45-foot oil pattern. In the fourth game of qualifying for an 870. Third of 4 bowlers in Group 2 in qualifying. Great young stars of the game. Marshall Kent has all 10 down. He talks about what will it take to be #1 in the world and the best.
I still have a few things to learn, actually a lot to learn about the game, and just mentally maturing, physically maturing, and you know, I feel like with my work ethic, I'll get there soon enough, and it's just going to take some work, and you know, just keep bowling and just learning little things here and there that keep adding up over the years, and it'll get me there eventually.
Look out. All right, good break there. Kid's also a gym rat. He's a stud. I mean, I went to the gym with him one day. He was doing chest and biceps. I was doing elbows.
Well, he's a lot younger than you are.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up. Trust me. Keeps himself in great shape, and it pays dividends.
4-7 has his mark.
Tommy Jones, another great athlete, former baseball player. And when we watch Tommy Jones's form, what stands out is how much he uses his lower half. I mean, he's just got great foundation and great legs, and that's really the key to his power. A great tip for you youngsters at home, especially if you're power players, make sure you keep your legs in great shape. It'll certainly add to the longevity in this sport.
TJ. Good looking shot, all 10 back. Break his game down a little bit, Randy.
Well, again, he gets the ball into the swing nice and early and gets it to the top quickly with the open hand, left arm out in front, and there again you see the bent elbow and cupped wrist, and then that all straightens out at the bottom. It's like throwing a yo-yo into the floor. That's what creates revolutions. Game breaker 2 Phenom Pearl is Tommy Jones's sphere of choice for game #1.
And you talked about his longevity. He mentioned that to us in our interview with Tommy pre-show. He wants to be competitive into his mid-late 40s. And he'd do what
That is so bad, Tommy.
Walter Ray Williams Jr., Norm Duke, Pete Weber have done to be competitive that late in their careers.
Both players going high on this lane. I don't know if the left lane is starting to break down already or if it's just bad execution.
He'll take that 4-pin. So, Randy, I want your opinion. First on Marshall Kent as he steps up. We heard that interview with him a moment ago about trying to be #1 in the world and get to the very top of the sport. Is that something Marshall Kent can do?
certainly has all the tools to get there. I mean, you look at the top 8 players that are here, it's a power game. Make no mistake about it. You better bring the heat, and you better have a lot of revs. Marshall has all of that.
5th frame. Leaves a 10-pin.
I did an exhibition with Marshall last summer in Japan, and we made Marshall have to throw 3 strikes in a row. 1 left-handed, 1 right-handed, and 1 two-handed. And guess what? He did it 99% of the time.
Is that right?
On command.
Lefty. That's amazing. I mean, two-handed is one thing, but lefty. Yeah, there's a 10-pin.
Same ball on the left? No. Code X. High Road Nano on the right lane, Code X on the left lane. Going with a stronger ball on the left. Code X is asymmetrical.
It is working for Marshall Kent. A 9-pin lead on Tommy Jones. Halfway home. Our first step ladder in Group 2 semifinals. Everyone wants to face Jason Belmonte in the 2018 PBA Tour Finals Championship match. The PBA Tour Finals are brought to you by Go Bowling. Promotional offers, tips to improve your game, news, or to locate a bowling center near you. Log on to gobowling.com. By Barbazol Razors. Here's a no-brainer. Barbazol's making razors. Try the Barbazol Ultra 6 Plus today. And by BowlerX.com. BowlerX.com is the online bowling supply superstore. Free shipping, free returns, simple. BowlerX.com for the love of bowling. Marshall Kent lead on Tommy Jones. Stepladder semifinals Group 2 is underway. Time for a track tech talk with Mr. Kent, Mr. Peterson.
Well, we just got done talking about the beauty of Marshall Kent's game, and look at the positions. You can see the beautiful cupped elbow and wrist at the bottom, and then obviously the physical skills that allows him to create these great positions at the foul line. Look at that balance. You think about how hard he throws it and how much he gets on the ball and is still able to balance himself like that at the foul line. It's a great skill set.
Tremendous talent. Facing Tommy Jones here in our first stepladder in the Group 2 semifinal. Works on a spare. Sixth frame for TJ, all 10 back. 18th year pro with 18 career PBA Tour titles and 2 majors to his credit.
This guy here throughout his career, except those couple of years where he was injured, is one of the best closers the tour has ever known. He's got one of the highest winning percentages in the history of the PBA Tour. Right now, Tommy Jones with a strike in the 7th can take the lead.
Entering the PBA Tour Finals, a 49-29 career TV record. Over a 221 average. Onto the bright lights. An incredible player. Great longevity. Great shot.
Looked like he gave that one the heater, Ricky. That was pretty fast and pretty firm and pretty direct. And right now, Tommy Jones takes a 1-pin lead.
You see it? Yeah.
That was just inside a 3rd arrow.
Jones up one with a double. 7th for Kent to retake the lead. Yes, he will.
Beautiful shot by Marshall Kent. 9-pin goes last, and the lead is back in his corner.
Nothing is too tough to tackle for former NFL running back Tiki Barber and co-host Brandon Tierney. Get all the sports debate and expertise you need from Tiki and Tierney. Weekdays starting at 3 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Now Kent up 9. See the max scores. Looks for the turkey in the 8th and has it. Right up 19 pins on Tommy Jones.
Well, if you like pin action, swipe right because Marshall Kent's got it going. just increased his lead to 19. Tommy Jones now stepping up in the 10th frame. If he takes it off the sheet, he'll shoot 258. Marshall Kent has 267 possible.
See that win percentage Randy was talking about, 9th all-time PBA Tour history, almost 63% on TV. Fantastic.
You know who's 10th all-time?
You?
Me.
Great, man. Top 10's fantastic.
It's got to be
Why you're in the Hall of Fame.
Beautiful shot there by Tommy Jones. Now this left lane to me is a little tricky because it's the lane that both players went high on. It's the lane that the players have chased left. They've made some adjustments. The last shot for Tommy Jones on this left lane was extremely high flush. If that ball was a fraction of an inch higher, he could have left a 4-pin. He's zeroed in on the right lane. I think the right lane's good. It's this lane that I have a question about.
So back and forth we go. Jones trying to go back on top. Close match. Right frame. Hopes for a four-bagger. Has it.
Wow.
Crunch. All 10 back in the pit in that 1-3 pocket. Great shot.
Wow. That ball went through the pins extremely hard. It's funny in talking with Tommy Jones, you know, a few years ago, he was the premier power player or one of them. Him, Robert Smith, guys like that. Well, that was before Belmonte and E.J. Tackett and Marshall Kent. And now he's not one of those guys anymore. He has to figure out other ways to beat the high-rev players.
Response from Kent. And he's back on top by 9 pins.
I mean, the ball's going through the pin so hard it almost looks like the 9's falling over because it's paralyzed. Ground level, look at that release. Folks, you see where his fingers are when he lets go of the ball? They're behind the ball, not on the side. That's how you create power. See that? Looked like somebody tased the 9-pin.
4 straight. 2 strikes, 2 pins. That's what he needs to shut out Tommy Jones and advance. Crunch time. 4-pin.
There it is. It's called foreshadowing, Dave. This lane to me looked suspect because it looked like it was starting to check early. And sure enough, it got Marshall Kent there. Now he's in danger of losing this game to Tommy Jones. If he strikes on this shot, Tommy Jones will need strike 9 spare to win. Both players bowling great games here. Tell you, anytime you lose with 240 on television, it's tough.
That's about on the 9-pin. And a 246 posted by Marshall Kent. Drop steps Tommy Jones with a chance to wrap it up.
He has to strike on this ball.
Strike 9 spare required to dispatch Marshall Kent. And they take on Jesper Svensson. Climbing the ladder. E.J. Tackett is the top seed. To beat A.J., it's going to take 2 games. He's tied at 1, then they'll have a 2-frame extra bowling session, 9th and 10th. Gotta be a strike. Tommy Jones steps up.
So good.
10-pin.
God, that was so good.
Well, he ended this game like he started this game. Remember the 2 massive ring and 10s to start in frames 1 and 2. Tommy Jones aces this shot. And watch the 6 just sling around the 10. Unfortunate break. He bowled a great game. Marshall Kent is going to move on to face Jesper Svensson.
Ringing 10-pin. Tough break for TJ with a great shot. And Tommy Jones' quest for a 19th career PBA Tour title will end here today in Allen Park. Another 10-pin. We've seen that before. 246, 236. Marshall Kent advances to take on Jesper Svensson in match number 2. They're all Jason E.J. Tackett, the top seed in Group 2. Jason Belmonte won Group 1. PBA Tour Finals rolls on next from Allen Park, Michigan. Marshall Kent takes care of Tommy Jones in the first stepladder match. This Group 2 semifinal by 10 pins, 246-236. Jesper Svensson is next up for Marshall Kent.
Do we voice this already?
Our Ebonite flashback takes us to Shawnee, Oklahoma, 2016 Tournament of Champions. Jesper Svensson, the two-handed lefty from Sweden, became the youngest ever to win this prestigious PBA Tour event, 8 days shy, Randy, of his 21st birthday. What a moment for Jesper.
Yeah, Dave. Jesper, who qualified second, struck on 5 of his first 6 shots and defeated Mitch Beasley 226-177 to capture his third of what is now 7 PBA Tour titles.
Rock star since 2016, 41 events, a lot of success for Jesper Svensson.
Truly unique player out here. He goes about his business with urethane only. And if you talk to most of the players out here, they'll tell you that when he has his look, he's unbeatable. And I'll tell you what, he's done some great things in a very short period of time out here.
Kent Svensson next. Second stepladder match in this Group 2 semifinal. We're joined by Jason Belmonte in the booth as well. It's all coming up. From Allen Park, Michigan, Marshall Kent, Jesper Svensson about to go head-to-head. Special guest in the booth with us is the world's #1 ranked player, Jason Belmonte. Belmo is the top seed for Group 1. He bowled so well earlier this summer on CBS Sports Network. When you're watching today's show, what are some of your impressions of the early bowling?
Well, I think the first thing that we're seeing is some pretty good bowling out there. I mean, the guys have got a pretty good look to the pocket. Tommy threw, I think, a couple of shots that he wished he could take back, but overall, 230, 240 is a pretty good start to the TV show today. It's going to be interesting to see how Jesper plays, though.
I was just going to ask you, do you think this is a bye for Marshall Kent? Because Jesper emphatically said he did not care for this oil pattern.
Well, Jesper's one of those kind of guys that, he may be just taunting Marshall a little bit with the idea of he doesn't really like it. The thing with Jesper is in one game, if he gets just a little look with that urethane ball, he makes it work. So, watching him throw a few practice shots out there, he's gone high flush a couple of times. So I would imagine that Marshall is not thinking this is going to be an easy game.
And the thing about it is him being the only southpaw, if he does find something, he may be unbeatable.
Well, that's usually what happens with that side of the lane, is if they have a little something, it's generally untouched by anyone else. And they can really, throw some strings of strikes that make it really difficult for the right-handers to keep up.
Belmo's going to hang with us, offer some guest analysis. Our first show in the semifinals, EJ Tackett, top seed in this Group 2, join us. Kent starts match 2 with a strike.
Jason, I have to ask you this. What I've noticed in Game 1, it looked like the left lane started to go first. Like there was more friction on that lane. Is that what you saw in your match?
It was actually the opposite for us. I had the right lane hooking probably about 5 or 6 boards more than the left lane. And I actually saw the transition happening on the right lane first in our match.
Crunch, all 10 back for Jesper Svensson.
So for someone who doesn't like this oil pattern, that looked all right.
That looked pretty good, didn't it?
That had nice shape to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Jesper and the urethane bowling ball is, there isn't too much crazy angularity. So if he finds that consistent line to the pocket, he can repeat incredibly well. And that type of bowling ball in his hand, with his ability to repeat, as long as he can feel confident it's going to go through the pins, he's one of the hardest players in the world to beat.
That's the hit he has to carry.
And that is the only thing that I think is going to slow him down, is that if he leaves that flat 7 a couple of times, it may get into his mind that he's going to have to do something a little different, and that could cause the ball to cause him to miss it inside of target, trying to go more high flush to cause the error. He has to stay patient, and he has to make a really, really subtle change if he's consistently leaving that 7-pin. Hopefully by then he has enough time if Marshall hasn't, continued to strike.
Picks up a 7-pin. Second frame here for Marshall Kent. One of the young guns that we talked about in your Group 1 win, Belmo, just about some of these young guys trying to chase you, and it motivates you, keeps you going.
Yeah, absolutely. I want them to get better because they push me to be better. I'm never going to be complacent when I watch guys like Marshall Kent throw the ball just like that. I mean, that's scary to watch from up here, and when you're on the lanes with him, it's even scarier.
How talented do you think this guy is, Jason?
Yeah, one of the things that I think Marshall doesn't get recognized enough for is he's worked really hard on playing straighter. He's curving the ball a little bit today, but he's gotten really good at throwing it straight. Now, when you've got somebody who throws the ball with 550 RPMs curving it and can also throw it straight, that becomes a player, who's very versatile, and you've got to watch out for him on multiple patterns now.
3-10 baby split here for Marshall Kent. What a future he's got in front of him.
I will say the only thing that is holding Marshall back right now is the thing between his ears. I watch him bowl on television, and then I compare that to what I see through qualifying or through the match play rounds, and he does look a little different. He looks a little bit more, I don't want to say the word serious, because he's always a serious competitor, but it almost looks like he's overthinking when he's on television, and he's the kind of player that should just get his hand in the ball, stand him where he wants to stand, and then just let it go instead of trying to maybe overthink it.
That's a great point, because he told Dave and I both that on television he needs to make better decisions.
Saw 227 on the same 45-foot oil pattern.
So I'm thinking that based on your comment, Jason, and what I've seen, that there's times where he overthinks it.
Lucky me.
Yeah, I just think he's trying to be too perfect,
okay.
And it's one game against your competitor in this format, and in one game, when you try to be perfect, then you start to, focus on everything that is going wrong instead of focusing on the things that you're doing right.
That was a great reaction, by the way, from Jesper after that last hit.
It was kind of a 9.5. He didn't really get a strike. He left one standing in the gutter.
A little deadwood there. That was interesting. You don't see that very often. Svensson with some power. So Belmo being a right-handed two-hander and watching Jesper do it from the left side. How do you view that difference in his game?
Yeah, I think we're completely different players. We might use a similar technique, but the way that he attacks the lane and compared to the way that I like to see the lane is very different. Jesper prefers that urethane bowling ball. He prefers to throw it faster and harder, where I like to see a little bit more shape. But again, Jesper, when you're that good at repeating something and it's your A game, you have the ability to put fear in any of the players' eyes out here. And he's 600 RPM playing his A game. No one likes to see that.
Marshall Kent, lane level guys, impressive. 14 pins separate the two now. Heading into the fifth frame. Joined by Jesper Belmonte, the world's #1 player. Multi-PBA Player of the Year award winner. Looking for an 18th title. He won Group 1. So he'll be in the PBA Tour Finals Championship show coming up on CBS Sports Network next week. Can't try to cut out that lead. Does.
And Marshall using two different bowling balls on this pair. And finally catches another double after the open. Or I shouldn't say finally. Catches a double immediately after the open. Now it's up to Jesper to extend his lead. Jason, I have a question for you as we take a look at his arsenal, which doesn't change a whole lot. It's urethane, and more urethane as he's going with the natural. We've asked him this question. I've spoken with him before many a times. What is it about using reactive resin that doesn't work for Jesper?
Look, I don't want to talk for him, but the thing that I see when he uses reactive, the way that he lets go of the urethane bowling ball, it's a very aggressive release. He really hits hard on the ball, which is what you have to do when you're throwing that urethane ball. You can just see the amount of rotation he puts on that ball. Now, when you put a reactive ball in his hand, that high rotation with that aggressive release can be a little unpredictable down the lane. And speaking of someone who creates a lot of rotation myself, when the lanes get a little tricky and you're using a reactive bowling ball and you're creating a lot of angle down lane, you can leave a lot of nasty things. That's why I think he typically likes the urethane bowling ball. It's a very controlled shape. It lets him feel the ball as hard, hit the ball as hard as he wants, and not see that crazy shape down the end of the lane.
Out of a strike and a 24-pin lead for Jesper Svensson of Sweden against Marshall Kent from Yakima, Washington. It's match 2, trying to climb the ladder. And eventually the winner will take on E.J. Tackett, the top seed of Group 2. Conclusion of match number 2 comes your way next. If you're looking for a last-minute Father's Day gift for the bowler in your family, the PBA has you covered with officially licensed PBA apparel and merchandise available at PBA.com. The apparel categories include retro, 60th anniversary, signature, and PBA league designs. Simply head to PBA.com and click the Shop PBA link on the main menu to check out all of the new items.
I got to get me one of those retro hats, man. Those are cool. I like that.
They are sweet.
There's a Randy Peterson shirt that I'm trying to get Randy to sign for me.
You already bought it?
Well, bought is a loose term. I might have stolen it from the merchandise booth when no one was watching.
Oh, lordy, lordy.
6th frame here. Marshall Kent, guys. Last day close with Jesper Svensson, who's got a 24-pin lead.
Well, this is what got Tommy Jones the last game. This hit right here. Notice where the fingers are at release. Up the back of the ball. Not on the side, folks. And there's at 6. Viciously around the 10.
There's 10. He's run by the world's number 1, Jason Belmonte.
That would have made the 7-10.
So, Jason, we'll take a look at this first here. I've got a question for you.
Hits the sweep, comes off the sweep. That had a really good chance of taking the 7 out if it was there.
Seventh frame for Kent. Works on a spare. Has a strike. Disney went to South Florida and met with some victims of the Parkland shootings. Got to know one of the families really well. Tell us that story.
Yeah, what an amazing experience for me to meet some of the most incredible human beings that I've had a chance to meet. Shout out to the Karboshi family, and in particular Hannah. Hannah was a student who was in her classroom when it all went down. She lost 2 of her friends, saw 4 more injured in her classroom, and the family together have raised near $30,000, actually over $30,000 for the families affected by the tragedy. And when I heard their story, I just had to go meet them. And she may be one of the most beautiful human beings that I've ever had a chance to meet.
So nice of you to spend time with that family. And
absolutely.
We know the bowling world has been so supportive of that family and some of the victims in South Florida.
Well, let me tell you, I want to make this point if I can. One of the things I'm most proud about being a bowler is that we bowlers are a community of people that when one of us needs the rest of us, we step up. I can't tell you how many millions of dollars are raised through bowling center events throughout the year globally. And it really makes my heart burst with love when I think about, how amazing our little family of bowlers really is.
Amazing bowler here for Svensson, no question.
And, let me just add to this, to what Jason said. Jason is one of the best, if not the best, at giving his time. He's the number 1 player on tour. He's the greatest bowler on the planet, but he's probably number 1 at giving his time and taking time out to do things for fans and do things like he just did down in South Florida. So, Jason, hats off to you as well.
Yeah, we appreciate that so much, Jason, being such a great ambassador to the sport.
Right now, Marshall Kent's in trouble.
Yeah, with a couple of frames to go, Randy, Marshall has really only one option. That's to continue to strike, and he's got to hope that that urethane ball is just going to leave a few pins coming down the stretch. If Jesper does not strike in the 9th, and if Marshall strikes right now, the heart rate will go up in both players because both of them will feel like either one can win.
How come when my ball hits there, I leave a solid 9, and his rev rate is twice mine?
Well, he's throwing pins around a lot more than you are. It's not like he's hitting something that's not in the 9 pin. You need to increase your rev rate to knock out the 9 pin.
All right, I got you. So right now, Jesper Svensson, his max score is 280. He's in the 240s right now. Max score for Marshall Kent, 245. So with a hit here, Jesper would just need good count on his first ball in the 10th. But obviously, Jason, he has found a little bit different way to get to the pocket on his quote-unquote tougher pattern.
Yeah, and the only thing that's going to slow Jesper down is the 6-8 split. That will be the one split that I see him leaving, if he leaves anything at all, which this particular case he rips the 5 pin into the 10.
7 straight strikes and 8 of 9 in the match here for Jesper Svensson. On fire, guys.
Now, the reason why I say the 6-8 split is the one that I see him leaving is because of this length of oil pattern, the 45 feet length. He's not going to want to throw the ball to the outside part of the lane. He knows it's not going to hook back. So his miss is going to be inside of target where the ball is going to hold its line. But if he misses just a fraction more than he would want, that ball is going to slide all the way through the oil, go high flush, leaving the 6-8 split. Ooh.
Wow.
He seriously nearly left. That was as close to leaving the 6-8 as you can leave, but the pins cooperated with him. They're the last 2 pins of the fall, the 6-8.
I mean, this ball goes through the pins about as hard as me going through the front door of a Walmart on Black Friday. I mean, this is just dirty.
It's so impressive to watch. It really is. And not to take any credit away from Marshall, who throws a ridiculous ball himself, but when you're watching over 600 RPM go through the pins, even if it is a urethane bowling ball, if he can just get that ball shaping the way that it is today, this is what he does. He misses once and shoots 270 or 280 and then goes to the next pair he bowls on and does it again.
And remember, the only shot he missed was a flat 7, which kind of left a question mark in my mind as to whether or not he'd be able to strike enough. Well, he answered that question.
Look, if I was to ask Jesper a question now, if I had the opportunity, is if this line does not hold for another 2 more games in which he has to bowl 2 more against EJ, what is the move? Where do you go from here? I don't think he can move in. Does he change bowling ball? Does he throw it harder? Does he hit it harder? I would love to know the answer to that, because that final shot was a 7-pin.
Yeah.
I see more of those coming.
And that's a great idea. I'll ask him that when I go down to interview him for the final match.
No worries. I'm glad I can help you do your job.
Thank you, Jason. How much do I owe you for that?
Yeah.
Some assistance from Jason. Not just the #1 ranked player in the world, also apparently a
great broadcast coach for Randy.
279. There's Svensson. He had 8 straight strikes. That streak ended, but a tremendous game for Jesper to advance as he's going to get through to the 2-game Group 2 final against EJ Tackett. So, Belmo, if you have a higher average, we'll see what happens to EJ Tackett. Choice of lane pattern. Can you tell us now what you're thinking about for the championship show? Back to Weber?
You know, I had a really good look on that pattern. It really depends, honestly. It depends on how I'm feeling. Here we go. Marshall's doing a little trick.
Let's have some fun.
Hook ball.
Come on, ball. Oh, spit it.
Need some more friction.
Why not? 279, 233. That's the final. Jesper Svensson will take on EJ Tackett for the Group 2 title, and the winner will battle Jason Belmonte. What do you think, Belmo? Pretty cool trick, huh?
Kind of looked like Jesper's ball when Jesper was 2 years old.
I kind of like when you throw the backup ball. That's pretty cheesy. I like that.
Jason Belmonte, thanks for joining us in the booth. Great job.
Thanks, Jay.
No worries at all. It's a pleasure.
Look forward to watching you compete PBA Tour Finals Championship show against either Jesper Svensson or EJ Tackett. That's the next 2-game match coming your way on CBS Sports Network. Svensson, impressive against Kent. He'll take on Tackett next. Jesper Svensson, almost unbeatable. Match 2, tremendous effort against Marshall Kent, 279-233 win, a strike fest for the youngster from Sweden. Welcome back to Allen Park. The question is, now as he takes on EJ Tackett, Randy Peterson, can Jesper Svensson be beaten with that look?
Well, I think the big question, Dave, is he going to have that look? If he does have the same look, like Jason Belmonte said, for 2 more games, I don't think anybody can beat him, including Jason Belmonte.
Let's recap what we've seen so far here in this Group 2 semifinal stepladder. Tommy Jones, Marshall Kent in that first match, and Jones had a chance.
Well, Marshall gets up and strikes here in the 8th frame. He sets up the 10th. Tommy did have a chance. If he doubles, it said it was a ring and 10, and the win goes to Marshall Kent. Match number 2 was all the Icemen. Jesper Svensson with a 7-pin in the second, and then it was the gravy train with biscuit wheels all the way to the end of the game where he shoots 279.
EJ Tackett, young star from Indiana, told us this week one thing he wants to do is repeat as a champ. He's never done it. He won this event last year in Orlando, trying to repeat the feat here in Allen Park. This year, can he do it is a question.
Obviously, he's more than capable, but again, it depends on if Jesper has the same look, and if he does, I don't think anybody beats him. EJ Tackett, however, loves this old pattern as well. It's all about execution now. He's going to have a good look and a good ball reaction to the pocket. And our last show, he had some good pin carry to go with it.
EJ Tackett is the top seed in Group 1. Impressive bowling as he looks to take this one now. When you're playing the 2 games, it's never easy. The mindset and mentality of these 2 bowlers coming in, what do you have to think about as the top 2?
Well, if it was me, I mean, obviously I want to figure out what ball I need to use and what part of the lane I need to play. But then it's making sure that I stay in front of the transition. I don't want to get caught where I miss the transition and I end up going through the nose and possibly splitting and end up with an open frame. So I'm staying ahead of that, making sure my ball's going through the pins the right way, and then it just boils down to being confident enough to execute shots.
Got to win 2 games here in Group 2. Semifinal stepladder show will wrap up EJ Tackett, the top seed, Group 2. Group 1 winner was Jason Belmonte. Svensson and Tackett head-to-head coming up next from Allen Park, Michigan. Getting set, our Group 2 championship 2-game match. Randy Peterson joined by the finalists.
Thank you, Dave. Jesper, I'm going to start with you. We talked about this 45-foot oil pattern. You didn't seem to care for it, but you obviously found something. What changed?
Yeah, well, I realized yesterday night that probably the 220 is not going to be enough in a high-scoring pattern. So I was thinking about it over the night and, came up with a good solution.
Is your ball reaction going to be there for 2 more games?
We're about to find out.
Thanks. Good luck. EJ, a couple of games away from a rematch of last year with Jason Belmonte. How do you get it done against Jesper?
Well, obviously that first match, Jesper's pretty locked in right now, so 220 is not going to win. I'm assuming that both games are going to be over 250 for the winning score. So got that in mind. I'm just going to have to go out there and strike a bunch.
Is it out there on the right side for you?
I think so. I got to make good shots, and hopefully the pins fall if I can make those good shots.
Thanks, EJ. Good luck.
Thank you.
Randy, EJ, thank you. And thanks to Jesper for his time as well. Pre-match lane-level interview. Two of the best young bowlers in the world. Jesper Svensson from Sweden and EJ Tackett. Huntington, Indiana, not far from Indianapolis, will get us started. Got to win 2 games. If it's tied 1 each, then we'll have a 2-frame extra bowling session. 9th and 10th. Tackett gets us started. Everything but knocked down the 10. Wow.
Randy on hits. Randy on hits. That was a nasty little messenger in front of the 10, huh, Dave?
Not sure how it missed. There's 10 pin. Breezy has that top seed. You're watching the other matches in the Stepladder. That was a one-game match. Of course, Svensson was able to win over Marshall Kent. Third last year in Orlando for Jesper. Now it's 2 games. Game 1 underway. High-scoring pattern so far. 7-pin with power.
Well, the last time we saw that hit, he shot 279. And again, not to beat a dead horse, but this is exactly what Belmonte was talking about. Will Jesper's shot hold up for 2 more games? Will he be able to get the 7 out? I think he's going to be able to hit the pocket.
All time on TV. How about Jesper Svensson? Number 2 all-time PBA Tour history at 230.13 under the bright lights.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he's 23 years old. The 2 bottom guys, 55 and 59.
That's impressive. In some elite company. Svensson.
That ball picked up a little bit sooner, and he trips the 6-10 out for a strike. Now E.J. Tackett, a couple years ago, he was the player of the year.
Calm, even keel.
Yeah, you can take a look at E.J. Tackett from super slow-mo, and this is what I call efficiency of motion. He doesn't weigh but maybe 130 pounds, and he uses all of that. And look at that move at the bottom, and I love the open hand release. Remember, it wasn't long ago that he was using 16 pounds. He just recently went to 15 a few months ago. So imagine this kid here throwing that 16-pounder at about 18 miles an hour with a rev rate over 500. Oh, and have we mentioned he can hit a golf ball 300 yards? And he's a +2 handicap?
+2 handicap.
Just thought I'd throw that in there.
And Ronnie Russell among the best. The PBA Tour on the golf course. That's impressive. Impressive ball 2 for E.J. Tackett.
Just an amazing hand at the bottom of the swing. EJ's gotten so good at being versatile as well and going straight when he has to, using urethane when he has to, hooking the entire lane when he can. But this guy here, Jesper Svensson, sure doesn't give you a whole lot emotionally. You really don't know what he's thinking. And I think that's part of the allure of him. That's part of what makes us really enjoy watching him.
Does that create an advantage when your opponent is not showing much emotionally?
I don't know. You know, Earl Anthony never showed a lot. And I remember when I first bowled, the first time I bowled Earl Anthony in match play, and somebody told me, as we take another look at Jesper going through the nose here, somebody told me, hey, listen, whatever you do, don't be running it out and slapping it off in Earl's face, because that's just going to make him angry. So I remember bowling Earl that first time I ever bowled him, and I kept my mouth shut. I just threw the ball down the lane, had no reaction whatsoever, and I still got smoked.
But you were respectful. That's good. Jesper Svensson and Tackett here in Game 1. Group 2 finals. Group 1 won by Jason Belmonte. So he's got a shot. PBA Tour Finals Championship show. Winner of this match will take on Belmo for the title.
Remember, this is best of 2, not total pins.
Svensson. 4-7 this time.
And this is kind of what we were talking about. You know, it was there for a game and however amount of practice he had. And now all of a sudden, that ball's starting to check early. And he knows he can't give the pocket away to the left because the pattern's too long. So he's going to keep moving. and try to find another line to the pocket. And hopefully stay in. Whoa.
My bad.
Let's try this again.
Never seen him do this.
Didn't like the footing. There's a 4-7. There's his mark. Spares might not do it against this guy.
Well, there's one thing we know about E.J. Tackett. When he gets it going and he has a little bit of carry, he never stops striking.
4:58 on this pattern. Fourth game of qualifying.
That is just pure filth.
All 10 back to the pit. Last PBA player other than Jason Belmonte to capture the Player of the Year award is E.J. Tackett, 2013 Rookie of the Year. His victories in the 2016 PBA World Championships where he defeated Tom Smallwood for his first major title. Followed it up with another major victory at the 2017 Tournament of Champions, knocking off Tommy Jones. And you and I called it last year, celebrating with Dad Ed, the inaugural PBA Tour Finals in Orlando. So impressive as well. E.J. Tackett. What a career ahead of this young man.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive that at age 25, he's already eligible for the Hall of Fame with 9 victories and 2 majors.
And he told us this week the realization that things are going really well for him and that he has a great future and has done so much in his bowling career is when he heard that news. Hall of Fame eligible? Really? I mean,
yeah.
It just...
I got to tell you, back
like a ton of bricks.
Back in my era, in my heyday, we never thought about the Hall of Fame at age 25, ever.
Svensson, 10 pin.
Seen that one before.
Yeah, I can tell you, there's a lot going through his mind right now. Not so much in that first game that he bowled against Marshall Kent, but a great shot and a bad break, leaving that jammed 10-pin. Jesper Svensson is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet out on this tour. I know we talk a lot about, as he covers the 10, we talk a lot about his power, and you know he's got that look, you know, that good-looking Swedish kid with the tats, and he's got a lot. But he is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Very soft-spoken. Big hockey fan, played soccer and hockey. Of course, the addition of bowling growing up. The bowling center literally was located next to his school, so he would leave class and be on the lanes in 2 minutes flat. And he said that was so instrumental in his development, just having access to the lanes as a youngster to continue to work on his craft. Always been a two-hander. He'll try it one-handed once in a while. It doesn't go too well. A strike in the 6th for Svensson. E.J. Tackett with a turkey in frames 3, 4, and 5. Has a lead on Svensson in game 1. Got to win 2, though, to win Group 2. Tackett, Svensson head-to-head. E.J. Tackett a 22-pin lead. All for a 4-bagger in the 6th frame. Randy, our Columbia 300 fun fact is...
The messenger, or scout, refers to a pin that comes across the pin deck. Take out a standing pin. Do you see the speed of that messenger? That kind of reminds me of my messengers. Yeah.
Do you prefer using messenger or scout in the broadcast?
I like messenger.
I haven't heard a lot of scouts for you this week.
Scout, yeah. I think messenger is kind of my thing. Now, these guys here, like Jesper and E.J., Belmonte, Marshall Kent, they throw really fast messengers.
Strike streak, home for 4 straight, and has it, E.J. Tackett. Well, their big one to go up 32 pins.
Yep, he said, well, you know what, I'm not going to wait for Jesper Svensson to get lined up. I'm just going to take control of game number 1. And E.J. Tackett out to a 32-pin lead.
EJ grew up around bowling as well. His family has owned a bowling center his entire life. Dad, Ed, and the family actually building a new one, as you see his arsenal. Moving a little further away from where they were in Huntington. Wow. It'll be named Easy Bowl, as in EJ and Brother Zach.
There's a really good story about EJ's family where every member of EJ's family has won the Fort Wayne City Masters except EJ.
Imagine that. One of the best players on the planet has not won the Fort Wayne City Masters yet. Everyone in his family has done it. That is something else.
I mean, he told us that story. I thought it was great.
And he actually, I think he likes to tell it because it's a big family matter of pride there. And I think he's motivated even more to, you just know his family lets him know about it. Dad's been his coach his whole life. 7th frame.
That's a really good sign for Jesper Svensson, and I'll tell you why. It looked like he got it a little bit left. The ball actually came back to the pocket, and then the 4 sent the 7-pin into concussion protocol. Watch the action of the 4-pin and just whiplashes the 7. That's a really good sign. Bang.
Got to win 2 games. There's a long way to go here. It is 32-pin lead for Tackett. That's just in game 1. You guys strung together 5 straight strikes. Turkey chance here, 8th frame. And you see the great TV numbers for Svensson.
Yeah. I think that was in Swedish, so I can't even begin to translate what he just said after that shot. But it just looked like it picked up in the middle part of the lane a little bit quicker than he wanted it. And again, he'll make another adjustment on that lane. If he gets it to the spot and it does what it did on the right lane, it could be game on in game 2. But right now, game 1 looks like it's going to E.J. Tackett.
6th pin, there it is. He told us komien in Swedish means good. And bra, I hope I had that pretty close to right, was
Bra.
bra.
Yeah.
Success, strike, good things. And neither of those were used on that last.
No.
His last Swedish,
Yeah.
so we're not going to be able to translate that. It was definitely in the negative. Tackett. Oh, avoids a 7-10. And just the 10 stands here for EJ, trying to put this game away, and a little scare there for the defending champ.
Well, this is almost a pocket 7-10 with a ring 10 on the side.
There's the Barbazar post-shave replay, and there's the 10 pin.
Yeah, minus the shaving cream because they're very close to being a 7-10. But I got to be honest with you, I've watched E.J. Tackett bowl a lot, and I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel that I've watched him bowl some really, really good games where his carry stunk, and reminiscent of that last shot we just saw. Thank you. I mean, I am on point right now.
You have been pretty much the entire time.
Wow. You know, sometimes I surprise myself.
Never surprises me, partner.
And I'm not saying that this shot should strike, but it had a pretty good chance. Remember, a couple of shows back, he's leaving solid 9s and all this, that, and the other. And then last week, he carries those, he trips those 9 pins out and gets the messengers to come across, you know, and then ends up as your number 1 seed for Group 2. But look at EJ's game. 10-pin, 10-pin, 5-bagger, 10-pin, 10-pin.
Weeknight starting at 6 Eastern, Adam Shine brings us unmatched enthusiasm to a whole new level on his nightly show full of strong opinions and high energy. Time to shine right here on CBS Sports Network. Night frame, Svensson on a spare. All 10 back.
Trying to figure something out for game 2. You know, Dave, you and I should have our own show. Could be
Rhino
like
Randy Rhino. Probably you first. You're the head.
Randy and Rhino. I think we could have like a variety show.
It would be great to
have, talk sports.
Radio. I'm ready.
But have like more bowling than anything else. I think we should do that.
I'm ready to go.
Have guests on.
Both EJ and Belmo were fantastic.
That's so cool.
In-show analysts for us on CBS Sports Network. Here at the PBA Tour Finals.
Yeah, lost on that lane. He's going to make a spare here. Hopefully, gives him one more shot that he can throw in the 10th to figure out the left lane. Absolutely no idea what the adjustment he should make. No idea. I mean, you would think that the logical move would be to move right with his feet and maybe try to open up the pattern just a little bit, but on this long pattern, Jesper's looking for hold and not swing.
So he'll have some thinking to do heading into the second game.
Unless you're Joe C. Unless you're Joe C, then you would. That looked like he chased it in a little bit more, Dave. Getting back to the variety show that we should do it late night so I could curse.
It would be entertaining.
Yes, it would.
It would be a lot of fun. 206 for Svensson. EJ Tackett. 4-pin late here.
Anybody?
Trying to set himself up for game 2. Wrap it up and take on Belmonte. PBA Tour Finals Championship show as the Group 2 winner.
And EJ actually looked like he threw a different ball in that shot. It looked like it had a little more surface to it. Hard to see from our vantage point way up here, but Jesper talking to Hall of Famer Del Ballard Jr., tour rep. Well, that's two different balls there in the 10th frame for EJ Tackett, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does.
235-206. Game 1 score. EJ Tackett from Huntington, Indiana wants to close out Svensson in game 2. Win Group 2 to take on Belmonte for the PBA Tour Finals Championship. EJ Tackett, top seed, Group 2 semifinals match 3. 235-206 win over Jesper Svensson with a 5-bagger. Impressive for the native of Indiana. Once again, time for the Go Bowling Fan Tip of the Week.
All right, we're here at Thunder Bowl in Allen Park, Michigan. With me, my new student, Bree from Commerce, Michigan. And today we're going to take a look at Bree's game, see if we can't help her a bit. So what's happening at the release point is your hand's turning early, your wrist breaks down a bit, and then your left shoulder is out in front of your right shoulder. And so you're basically telling the ball to go to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get your hand underneath the ball. You're going to try to roll it more, but you're also going to try to keep the left shoulder behind the right shoulder. Back in the day, Earl Anthony, arguably the greatest bowler of all time, would keep his right arm in front of his body throughout the whole entire approach. This kept his shoulders open throughout the entire approach. I want you to try that, okay?
Okay.
Not bad, not bad. You got something to work on, kid. You'll get it.
That was our Go Bowling PBA Fan Tip of the Week, Randy.
If I were to add one other thing, just move up on the approach just a little bit for me.
Nice coaching, Randy.
Well, thanks.
EJ Tackett. Spectacular right-hander. Trying to take down Jesper Svensson. More coming up from Allen Park. EJ Tackett wins game 1. Got to get to 2 game wins to take the match and win Group 2. Jason Belmonte from Australia won Group 1. So he's got a spot PBA Tour Finals Championship show. Also have a 3rd place match on that show on CBS Sports Network coming up next week. Crowd's ready. So is E.J. Tackett.
Simonson will be bowling for that third place match. Question is it going to be against Jesper Svensson or E.J. Tackett? Yeah, that's the trouble spot. And, he gave that one a little bit more room to the left, and this ball hangs. And again, that's the problem with urethane. Now, the only way he gets that to the pocket is if he throws it slower.
He wanted a better start to game 2 and covers nicely. And a good pickup and spare for Jesper Svensson. Time for the hammer, tough spare. Replay, Randy.
Yeah. Normally this is a 2-4-5, but he's left-handed. So that's the 3-5-6. And he covers it perfectly. Splits the 5 and the 6 in half. And now T.J. Tackett, who's looking to put an end to Jesper Svensson's day. Jesper finished 3rd last year. And E.J. Tackett strikes once again. And look at that great release. And that's just a 10-pin party in the pit.
Starts game 2, we left off game 1. On fire. Former player of the year. Wants to repeat the feat, win this championship. And he is locked in.
Hey, you brought up a great comment earlier when you said, he's never defended a title successfully. He's in great shape to do that, or at least get to the finale against Jason Belmonte.
Already Svensson in the hole. Game 2. Second frame and 6-10 stand.
Well, it would have been nice to see a match where Jesper Svensson had a good ball reaction to get to the pocket, because I think it would have been lights out and fireworks everywhere, but he's struggling on both lanes now, and I'm not sure what he should do. If he moves in, now he's moving into the dry part of the heads where the right-handers are playing. I don't know how it affects his ball getting through the front part of the lane. I know that if he gets it too far to the left, it doesn't get back. And if he gets it up the lane, he's too far to the right now for the ball to lay there and hit the 1-2 in the face. Maybe you go grab a reactive ball and just say, to heck with it, let's go.
Join us for our next PBA telecast, Tuesday, June 19th. In Eastern, we crown the champion of the PBA Tour Finals from here in Thunderbolt Lanes, Allen Park, Michigan. Jason Belmonte is the Group 1 winner. Group 2, the title is being contested here today. E.J. Tackett, first 2 strikes game 2. He won the first game convincingly. Got to win 2 games in the group finals.
See, to me that looked like it was a little softer, and he nails the pocket and then gets 9. So as a player, you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? And thanks for nothing.
So many adjustments that you can or can make, and they can make or break you. It's amazing. In this sport, 7-pin takes care of business.
And he knows it. I mean, he's handcuffed. E.J. Tackett knows it.
Wow, all 10 back. E.J. Tackett talks to us about some earlier struggles in his career.
2 years ago, nobody forgot that I couldn't win on TV. It was one of those things where I just had to learn what my body was doing, and obviously throughout the year you don't get a lot of opportunity to try to figure it out. And for me, it was just a longer learning curve than maybe other people had. Other people come out on TV. Maybe they bowled in college under the lights and stuff like that, so they already had a little bit more experience than I personally had.
Everything is a process out here. You learn how to cash, you learn how to make match play, you learn how to get to television, and then you learn how to win on television.
That's hard to imagine. Just a couple of years back, he was struggling because he has not done that recently for sure. 9 titles and 2 majors for E.J. Tackett. Jesper Svensson steps back up. All of a sudden, he is down by 33 pins in a big hole early. Game 2, 7 pin.
Come on.
Well, now I'm getting mad. Back-to-back ring 7s on the right lane. Really good shot for Jesper, but again, limited when the urethane doesn't work. I asked him what kind of arsenal did you bring here to the PBA Tour Finals. He said 9 urethane balls.
That's it. 7 pin. Floats to the channel and picks it up. That's close. He knows it.
I think he thought that was going in, and it stayed up.
Yeah, real quick. Machine thought I missed it. So did I, to be honest.
Yeah, unfortunately, through 4 frames in game 2, the writing's on the wall. I mean, how else do you spin this? Jesper is struggling to hit the pocket. When he does hit the pocket, he gets 9. E.J. Tackett is just striking every ball.
5th frame. Wow.
Yeah.
Repeat script over and over again on these ringing 7 pins.
Yep. You know, the scary part is what happens when he finally figures out how to use reactive resin? Then what?
It's lights out.
Well, I mean, it could possibly be. You know, he's so good with the urethane, but when he doesn't have that look,
My 17%.
if he had something else to go to, like reactive, and got good at that,
back to EJ. A splits for 10. Game changer.
well, this would have been kind of significant if Jesper Svensson carried the last 2 ringing 7s. And I would say, well, hang on a minute, folks. We might have something here.
An open frame cuts into his lead.
And not a bit of anxiety for E.J. Tackett after that shot.
EJ 1-1 all time, 181 average. His Del Bell Jr. Tour rep works with Jesper.
Need to work on my
All 10 back. Nice recovery from the open frame for EJ Tackett. Our lead on Jesper Svensson in game 2. He won the first game. Got to win 2 to win Group 2 to take on Jason Belmonte. 2018 PBA Tour Finals Championship Show from suburban Detroit, Michigan. Jesper Svensson, Randy, some really tough breaks. A series of ringing 7 shots. It looked like there were strikes when he got them out of the hands.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's thrown a couple of these, and they all start to look the same. And right now, Jesper Svensson is starting to feel like he's slowly being poisoned.
Wow. I mean, carbon copies. Amazing. He's got to win this match. Stay in it.
Well, that time it looked like he moved left and tried to firm it up. I'll tell you what, no one likes to live on this island. No matter what you do, you can't knock 10 down, even when you do hit the pocket.
Six pin takes care of it. But at this point of the match, he needs a strike streak. Just can't find that look in the pocket.
Now what, Dell?
Stat Pat breaks it down for you. That's all you need to know. One open for Tackett. That came in his 5th frame. Thought he responded with a strike, as EJ tends to do.
Yeah. Well, even though he's from Sweden, he's actually doing some German bowling right now. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. I'm sorry, I got nothing. I got nothing.
What you need is sane.
I know you speak German. That's why I use the German reference.
I appreciate that. I mean, it
You're-
was good.
you're
I
like-
wanted to let it.
You're almost fluent in German.
Go out
So that's why I brought it out.
Best done.
And once again, Jesper sits down on the bench trying to figure out how to get all 10 down. This man knows how, though. EJ Tackett. I mean, you really got to feel for Jesper, man. He's working his butt off, trying to everything he knows to do to strike, and it's just not happening. This guy can strike. And we're getting closer and closer to a rematch of last year with the #1 and #2 players on the planet. They're going to have another go.
EJ 2-2 all time, head-to-head with Belmo. On TV at 205.50 average. And last year, 3-game total pinfall title match of this event in Orlando. EJ won it 666 to 628. Different format this year. He's got to be confident.
Well, 9 spare is fine. EJ Tackett at 225 with the conversion here. Jesper Svensson going at 193.
Best finish for EJ this year, 3rd at the Roth Holman PBA Doubles Championship in Columbus, Ohio. Would love to get back in the winner's circle this year here in Allen Park, Michigan. Eighth frame here for Svensson. Works on a spare. In big trouble. And a big cheer from the crowd here at Allen Park. Finally all 10 back. And he realizes he needed that a lot earlier.
Yeah, that was definitely farther left and a lot more speed. And got to feel that the law of averages finally caught up with him. 8 frames into it, he finally catches his first hit. And there's the lighthearted Jesper Svensson acknowledging that same fact.
It's nice that he can make light of it a little bit, right? I mean, at this point.
He's just that kind of guy. I mean, and that's the right thing to do, obviously. I mean, it's not over, folks. Mathematically, Jesper Svensson can strike out and shoot 223. EJ Tackett's at 225.
Big shot here. Wow. 6-pin. He can't believe it.
Bara fick han inte bara en gång.
Yeah, pretty good shot here, but finishes just a little bit too high on the head pin, leaving the 6. And now Jesper would need a small miracle.
EJ Tackett closing in on winning Group 2 and facing Jason Belmonte The PBA Tour Finals Championship show next week on CBS Sports Network. Third place finish as well be determined. EJ Tackett continues to mow them over. Another strike for EJ in the ninth. Seven strikes in the match. So impressed, Randy, with how he rebounded from the open in the fifth as well. No problem for EJ.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because he knew his opponent couldn't strike. There was no pressure on him. All he has to do is just stay out of his own way.
He's done that and more. And wrapped up Group 2 with a 2-game win over Jesper Svensson. Solid effort for EJ Tackett in 2 games. Setting up a rematch of the 2017 PBA Tour Finals. We had in Orlando last year, won by this guy, EJ Tackett, over Jason Belmonte.
I mean, EJ Tackett, he rips on it so hard. When his ball goes down the lane, it sounds like it's eating the lane finish off of the lane surface. Like it's digging in. See if you can hear it on this next shot, Dave. See what I'm talking about? Huh?
I got you. EJ Tackett, 245. How about that? And a huge lead on Jesper Svensson. A victory in 2 straight games. And Jason Belmonte does have the higher average of all games bowled in this event for qualifying, and then the one in the Group 1 championship. He'll pick the lane pattern with a higher average for the championship show. And we asked him on the broadcast, he thought probably the 45-foot Weber pattern, which has yielded some big numbers, but you just never know. With Jason Belmonte, we'll find out next week. Jesper will take on Anthony Simonson in the 3rd place match next week on CBS Sports Network. So more of Jesper to come.
Well, this won't be the last time either now or next week that you see this man. Bright future for Jesper Svensson. Crazy game, isn't it? Can't strike until the 8th, strikes out in the 10th.
I appreciate it.
And EJ Tackett wins 245-203 and wins both games of the Group 2 final. So the Stepladder event leading us to that best-of-2 final match is complete. EJ Tackett wins Group 2. He'll face the Group 1 winner, Jason Belmonte, next week. The PBA Tour Finals are brought to you by Go Bowling. Promotional offers, tips to improve your game, news, or to locate a bowling center near you. Log on to GoBowling.com. By the United States Bowling Congress, creating competitive opportunities at all levels as we build a future for the sport. Visit bowl.com for more. Let's recap a busy show from Allen Park, Michigan. And the Group 2 Stepladder semifinal match number 1. Marshall Kent head-to-head with Tommy Jones. Marshall Kent got off to a great start. And a 236 win over Tommy Jones. Needed to strike out in the 10th. Could not do it. Marshall won on the bench to advance to the next round, where he took on Jesper Svensson in match number 2. Svensson was just too tough. 9 straight strikes to take command and win that match pretty easily, 279-233, setting up a 2-game match head-to-head with EJ Tackett. So match 3, EJ, outstanding. Had a great look. Strikes in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th frame, and won the first game 235-206. Game 2, more of the same. Jesper Svensson just could not get away from the ringing 7 pins, and in the end, 245-203 and a 2-0 win for EJ Tackett to take Group 2. EJ lane level, joined by Randy.
Thanks, Dave. EJ, congratulations. You're moving on. Talk about how the lack of ball reaction for Jesper Svensson affected the way you attacked this championship pair.
You know, that first game, he was rolling along pretty well, and then at the end, he struggled a little bit. And when I got up in the 10th frame, I knew I had the match won, so I fished a little bit, tried a couple other balls. I ended up staying with the same one, which is the ball that actually got me here to this position, or to that position on the show when we bowled on this pattern before. So the next game, he started out, threw a couple bad shots at the beginning, but it was just ring 7, ring 7, ring 7, ring 7. And up until, the 6th frame, obviously he could still strike out and bowl 240. So after that, I thought I had a pretty good chance. When I 410, I was like, oh, come on. Like, what are you doing, man? You got this match in your hands. But I was able to make some good shots coming down the stretch there, and let's go ahead and lock the match up.
All right, and so we're going to have a rematch of last year. We talked about how you've never successfully defended a title. You've got another chance at doing that. You're going to go up against Jason Belmonte. Your thoughts moving forward to that matchup?
Well, obviously, Bell and I have been two of the hottest players on tour the last couple of years, so it's going to be an exciting match. I assume there's going to be a lot of strikes thrown. He proved that earlier when he bowled, and I expect him to do the same thing again, so I'm going to have to bring my striking shoes and make some really good shots.
We just found out that he's going to pick the same pattern, the Weber pattern. With his rev rate, your rev rate, how do you anticipate that pattern holding up when you two go at it?
I don't know. It depends on the way he's going to play the lanes. If he breaks them down to the right, I could see a progression like I just had, but he may go way left, which, if he goes way left, I may be able to stay right of him and stay in like that little trough there. So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see how the lanes get broke down, and then I'll have to make my decision based off that. EJ,
congratulations. Thank you so much for your time. Way to go, man.
Thank you.
Randy, thanks. EJ, we can't wait for the championship match coming your way on CBS Sports Network. Our Final Four is set up. Third place 2-game match. Svensson and Simonson will go head-to-head. And then for the title, also the 2-game match, the defending champ, EJ Tackett, and the world's #1 ranked player, Jason Belmonte. Be sure to join us next Tuesday, June 19th at Eastern, as we crown the champion of the PBA Tour Finals from Thunderbolt Lanes here in Allen Park, Michigan. Now for my broadcast partner, Randy Peterson, and the entire CBS Sports Network crew, it's Dave Ryan saying so long for the PBA Tour Finals in association with the PBA. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. The finals are set. EJ Tackett, the defending champ. Jason Belmonte, the 4-time reigning player of the year. It's going to be fun to watch. Next week on CBS Sports Network, we crown a champion.